Happy New Year! Mr. DeRoy Cruz, your life applications officer. No. Absolutely not. How about that? That'll work. Got my New Year's resolutions going on. I really can't think of any New Year's resolutions. Maybe more Bible reading. Maybe more of working on my music. Putting a pencil to the paper. I said that last year for my New Year's resolutions are the same as last year, because I know what the Lord has blessed me to do. I know what the Lord wants me to do. And there's not really a difference, you know, what I'm supposed to do this year than last year. But Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. Apple cider vinegar tea. And when I get done doing this video, I'm going to do my sauerkraut and kielbasa. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my sauerkraut and kielbasa. And with some mashed potatoes. Lord help us. Getting back to the status quo videos. I think I'm going to do more than 10, because I'm going to use this little instrument in a prop, probably in the very last one, whichever one is the very last one. Hopefully it'll be the next one. But this one, I got to mention some things, and I'm only going to mention what I saw on one of my most favorite TV shows just a few minutes ago. Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I have to talk about what they tried to make a demonstration of, a model of, on this episode, probably about less than an hour ago, that I watched of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Okay? It's on right now. And I might have to, I didn't bring my remote over here, I might have to turn it off, because sometimes the action is distracting. Okay? But I'll try to focus on what I'm talking about. They just did a clip, and they always, I noticed this about not only Law and Order Special Victims Unit, but the other Law and Orders, as well as sometimes shows like Criminal Minds, in that they, now don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of Law and Order Special Victims Unit episodes where the gay person was the suspect, or someone trying to encourage their gayness on somebody was the suspect. So let me tell you right now, if you hate my bigotry towards gays, if you think I'm a bigot towards gays, you may not want to watch this video, because what I'm about to say, I'm not going to apologize for. Okay? This is not bigotry towards gays, but I have to talk about this episode of what they tried to do. First of all, when a priest, Catholic priest, lays down with I got to ask two questions before I continue. When a Catholic priest lays down with a man that has male parts, and he lays down with a kid that has male parts, what is the real difference? I know what the real difference is. One you're in more control, the other one you're not in more control. The one you role play or choose which one's in more control, the other one you're in control. I know that, okay? That's just that, and that's only part of it, okay? Now, here's the other question. We say that, you know, when I look at this episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit that I watched, when you say that just because a gay person molests children, or being gay does not promote one to molest children or cause one to molest children. My question is, how do you know that? How do you know that? Well, Cruz, well, Mr. D. Roy, well, Mr. Cruz, straight people molest children too. That's true. But where did you get the philosophy or the training or the understanding? What is the biology, first of all, that makes somebody molest children? Now, let me sound like a bigot for a moment. Let me go back into the South and sound like a countrified Western white man that ain't never been out of the country. Okay? Well, molesting children, that's kind of backwards. So it just wouldn't, it would just make sense to me that more gays would molest children or children than regular child molesters. Because if we believe that gay is backwards, if we believe that gayness is backwards, that way, then isn't molesting children backwards? The molesting children is backwards. Right? That's dumb. Right? But if you're gay, that doesn't make you backwards, is the argument. Or if you, see the child. If you lay down with the child, that's kind of crooked. You see there, when you lay down with the child, that's kind of crooked. When you lay down with another person, that's kind of crooked. So, in my mind, in my recollection, people that molest children are capable of being gay. Oh boy, y'all better load your guns. I'm just getting warm. You better load up your 38 special and find out where I live, because I'm not backing down. Because after watching this episode of BS, okay, totally rationalize the whole thing. Here's the episode. Watch this episode today of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I had to do a status quo on this. Okay? Had to do status quo on this. Because this goes on in a lot of online blogging and YouTube and people. Okay? So, there was these two lesbians who had children. Now, they didn't have children from each other, of course. I rest my case right there. I rest my case right there. How are you a lesbian? Okay. Two lesbians. And they had children. Well, they had a child. Now, obviously, if I remember the story correctly, the girlfriend died or was killed or murdered or something. The child was this woman's biological daughter. I don't understand what the murder or whatever happened to the girlfriend, whatever happened. I'm hoping that I'm right about this, that the other woman wasn't the actual... No, she wasn't. She wasn't. She wasn't, because of the parents. The parents were in the show too. The biological parents of the gay woman was in the parents too. So the baby, the little girl, the cute little girl, was her biological child that came out of her womb. She birthed. Now, there were other kids involved. I guess they don't talk about them in the movie, in the series. So when the woman was killed, I guess the other kids went to their family instead of with her. I don't know. I guess they demanded it to, you know. I'm trying to understand where the death of the other lesbian woman and the children come in. They just mentioned them. They didn't do nothing with them. They weren't on the show or nothing, but boy, that stings, but it's good. Anyway, you got this lesbian woman whose little girl. Now, see, this is what they did wrong. This is what they did wrong in this movie. They took it off of things that have obviously happened. Now, they say the Law and Order Special Victims Unit is fictional. But there was a case where this little tiny little girl stabbed, I don't know if he was a friend from school, little older boy. And he was attacking her for being gay, supposedly. And she wasn't gay, her mom was. Okay? But she ended up stabbing him in the back because of some things that he said. He wouldn't shut up about it. And it started off with the trial about how the little boy got stabbed in the back and lost his legs. This little girl had to be like 9 years old or younger. The boy had to be like in middle school. He had to be like 11... Well, he's like 11 years old and 12 years old or something. I think around 12 or something. Okay? She stabbed him in the back. He was rushed to the emergency room by the lesbian girl that was left. Okay? She takes the boy to the emergency room, and there's a big case about that. How you do all this in an hour, I don't understand. Okay? It doesn't make sense, and it did make sense. Okay? But anyway, it started off with a fight between proving how this boy ended up in the emergency room, and they tried to blame his father, and his father proved that he didn't do it, and they tried to blame his mother, and his mother didn't have nothing to do with it, and then somehow this gay girl's mom got in the middle of it because she brought him to the hospital, this girl's gay mom was put in the middle of it. Okay. So somehow, when they cracked the case to find out that the little girl, see, obviously they got this from another story that was real, and they made this a little bit fictional, but they obviously pulled this from some kind of headline or some story that they didn't let out into the public. Anyway, getting to it, the little girl ends up on trial because she finally, after crying about it and going crazy and going nuts and acting crazy, and her mom constantly accusing the police of holding the little girl, against her will or some other stuff, they finally got the little girl to be honest and say that she stabbed the boy in the back, and that's why he can't walk anymore. Okay, so now the mom, now they want to know, where was mom at? What was she doing? They thought mom might have did it. Okay, so now they're attacking mom. The way they connected the two stories are dumb. But what turns out is that somehow they jumped from that story to a custody battle between the girl's grandparents and her mom. Okay. And someone brought up, out of nowhere, they brought up the fact that mom took pictures of herself naked with her daughter. Daughter's like around 9 years old. Okay? She took nude pictures of herself with her daughter. And this is the fictional part. This is the fictional part, and even if you and trust me, I know that they say this. I know that they say this. The opposite on YouTube and in blogging and on the internet and so forth. But this is the fictional part right here. When you say that the lawyer showed the grandmother, the mother of the lesbian girl, okay, showed her where homosexuals, okay, are known to molest children. And you say that that is, I forget what kind of writing she called it. This DA girl that plays on Law and Order Special Victim Unit. I forget what kind of writing she called that in the film. But I believe that that's fictional. Now, let me clarify. Do I think that a gay couple can raise children without there being any complications other than the child being confused that she's got two mommies or two daddies and not a mommy and a daddy? Yes. I believe that, a gay couple, especially if the gay couple's up in age, like they're in their 30s, and they've had plenty of ample time to molest children if they wanted to do that earlier. Okay? They decided they want to get married, and this couple wasn't married, but they decided they want to get married before they play house and raise kids, adopt kids. Well, I can understand a gay dude who could have been with a woman and done the same thing with a woman. It's something that he wanted to do ever since he become of age. It's something he wanted to do. Yeah, I can see him raising a kid and it having nothing to do with the fact that he's gay. It's something that he would have done if he was married to a woman. He would have still wanted to be with a woman that wanted to adopt children. Okay? Or be with a woman that wanted to get pregnant and have a child of their own. I can understand that. Because just because you're gay and you got some weird intentions, that doesn't mean that it's always children. And that doesn't mean that when you could have molested children a long time ago, that no matter what you do, you're going to molest children. That's not, you know, I can understand where that's not true. Okay? And I also believe this too, like, let's say you're 30 some years old. I think that one thing, and Christians need to understand this, one thing that needs to be understood is that, see, I told you this would distract me. They always got to do these films with kids involved, okay? You know. And I hate when they blow it. You know what I mean? All he had to do was, he could have shot the dude, okay? And it would have been justified. You know, the dude's open. The health examiner, she's open. All she had to do was move to the side, let her shoot him. She knows the kid's in the car. The kid's showing her face. Now you're going to let him drive off with the kid when all you have to do is shoot the bastard. He's a suspect. He kidnapped this kid, okay? You know what I mean? Shoot him in the leg or something. You know what I mean? He's hiding out in the trunk. He's got complete view of the suspect. He could have just shot him. Or he could, as soon as he seen the kid, he should have got out of the trunk and started, you know what I'm saying? You could, you know. But, you know, in real life, that's what they would have did. But in the movies, again, fictional. Fictional. Matter of fact, in the movies, it would have been, the whole thing would have been different. I mean, in real life, I'm sorry. In real life, the whole thing would have been different. Anyway, getting back to it. So anyway, I can understand that, okay, you've been gay since you was a teenager. And now you're in your 30s and you're still gay. Yeah, I think you're over your desire to molest children. I think you're over your desire to go down to the adult store and get paid for giving BJs in the little private rooms down there at the adult bookstore or the adult video store or whatever. Okay? I think you're past all that. Okay? You know what I mean? Because it gets old. It gets old. Okay? So even though, you know, as the country guy said, you're crooked and you're backwards. Just like molesting children is backwards. So they're both backwards, so why can't they be intertwined? Well, I got news for you, they are. But when you're 30 years old and you've been doing this since you was a teenager, it gets old. It gets old. You had your chance to do all that. So why you want to wait till you're 35 years old and do that? Okay? So I can understand that. Now, getting back. This woman and the mother are in a custody battle all of a sudden over this kid And the mother, now when they bring this to court, the mother of the lesbian is being accused. Now the lawyer, her lawyer, who was able to prove everything from drugs to this woman's past lifestyle and all like that, she was able to prove that mom was a better candidate for the custody of this child than her lesbian daughter. Okay? But all of a sudden they attack the lawyer and say, oh, well, he's into this negative writing. He is into this faulty writing and blogging that he got off the internet. He typed this in and this was written by some guy by the name of so-and-so and so-and-so who hates homosexuals and blah, 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 blah. Okay, give me a break, okay? Woo! So anyway, after this happens, they also find out that the mother, and they totally destroyed this. Actually, this was after that they found out that the mother took naked pictures of herself with her daughter. Now, you're telling me that this little girl was able to be programmed by her grandmother to say to the DA and the police that her mother touched her the wrong way and she did not like it, it didn't feel good, but yet they got photos without mom's testimony, grandmother's testimony. They have photos to show that something more was going on than her being a good mother. This lesbian woman being a good mother. Okay? She's taking nude photos of herself with her daughter. She dressing her daughter. There was another photo where she dressed her daughter up like a prostitute. Did they get this story from somewhere else? I mean, why would you use something like that for an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit? Obviously, this story happened and it was played out different than what we see here. Okay, and they fictionalize it. Why? Because they have a debt to the gay community, the LGBTQ community. They have a debt to it. They are obligated to encourage, gays having children and discourage any investigation as to what that really means. See, that's what this is all about. They're encouraged to push the idea of gays raising children on all of us, but they are obligated to discourage the investigation or the philosophy or the study of what this really means. They ended the story with the mom and dad apologizing to their lesbian daughter. and the daughter leaves with mom. And at the end of the story, mom looks back at Olivia, Detective Benson. She looks back, and Olivia's looking at her like, are you safe? See, Olivia, now that's one thing I like about the story. Olivia never ever really came to grips with the fact that the lesbian mother was completely innocent. Everybody else is like, oh, we can't hold her on this. We can't hold her on this. We can't keep her away from her daughter based on this. The mom and dad lived a good life. Perfect. I mean, everything from middle school, everything from elementary school on up to their old age, they lived a good, clean life. Financially, economically, spiritually, morally, they lived a good life. And that's the moral of the story, is that you can be a good, Christian, if you want to call that, all you want to. But that doesn't mean anything when it comes to the rights of homosexuals. You can be as good as a Christian as you want to be. And it's funny how in the courtroom, they kept on with all this bigotry stuff we hear every day. Throwing it at the grandmother. They just hit her with it. Like, oh, so this, you have this and that against gays and blah, 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 blah. Sound like the D-Roy Cruise channel, the Christian Lives Matter cruise channel. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so you got just not against gays and blah, 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 blah. And again, they attacked her lawyer because her lawyer gave her information. But she already felt that way. She didn't need that information to push her case. And when they showed the nude photos of this child with her mother, grandmother knew it. Before she ever got this information from the lawyer. Now, my question is, now I'm about to get distracted again. Okay. Because I'm doing videos on Status Quo. I'm calling these videos Status Quo. The band Status Quo is playing music for me. Okay, that's a documentary. Okay, I was going to let you hear a little bit of what they was playing. But anyway, my question is, let me turn this fan around because my heat is all the way up. And it ain't that cold outside. My question is, what happened? Where did you investigate and really get to the bottom of those photos? They only had one scene where, oh, this was her dumb excuse. Oh, well, she was depressed and she wanted it that way. And this is how I handle her depression. We get naked. She wanted to get naked. Okay? But yet, they never accused the child of lying on her mother. And saying, why did you lie on your mom? She never said that grandmom and granddad made her say those things. But yet at the end of the film, she walked out with that child. Mom, lesbian mom, walked out with that child. And Olivia, started to look at the child, and the child looked at Olivia with that scared look on her face. And then the credits start coming up. It's over. Lesbian mom wins. Because if you're going to take down the characteristics or the attributes of homosexuality, you need more than Olivia to do it. even though they never got to the bottom of why is this woman taking nude photos of herself naked with her daughter. They never got to the bottom of exactly what's going on in that house between them two. Oh, we're going to use the fact that the lawyer decided to put his 2% in. That was totally uncalled for, so therefore that destroys the case. The lesbian lady gets to walk out free and get a free daughter to go with it, but yet they never got to the bottom of the case. The case is still open as the credits go up the screen. Again, my question is, where do we get the philosophy? Going back to our Mr. Countryman from the South. Where do we get this philosophy? Okay, that gay people cannot molest children. Why can't they? Because once upon a time, not too long ago, gay was crooked. And also with child molestation, before the gays ever got here, wanting this, incest was crooked. It was backwards. But today, it's okay. So in my recollection, I believe that if you're gay, you are capable of molesting children. Not to say that all gays molest children. Now, hear me good now. I'm not saying that all gays molest children, but I'm just saying, why wouldn't you be capable of molesting children? Okay, and I'm going to say one other thing too. I refuse to believe. I'll look it up online. And I have looked it up online, and I have seen reports where there is a lot of crime and, crime and bad things going on in the gay community that gets covered up. Now, you can go online and you can see some stuff. A lot of stuff at the top of the domain list will say that, for every crime that you accuse a homosexual of, there's a bigger crime pointing right back at you, okay? You know what I mean? If you say something against the LGBTQ community, they're going to find all kinds of things wrong with you. But there are, as you go down, as you stroll down, you'll see that there are things that they don't want you to say that are going on, and they're trying to cover it up. And they are covering up. They ain't trying, they're covering it up. It is covered up. There's stuff going on that is totally heinous in the gay community. And they're covering it up. They don't want to admit that homosexuality, they don't talk about the fact that a lot of these priests that supposedly are molesting children, okay, like Monday and Sunday, like Monday and Sunday ain't never going nowhere, okay? They refuse to come out and say that those priests have also been found out to be gay. Okay? They don't want to say that 8 out of every 10 child molesters have also had gay experiences with people before or after the molestation of a child took place. Because once you think outside the box, here's the box, and then there's all this desert around the box. Once you go backwards, like the countryman said, or once you go crooked, what's to keep you from experimenting with everything? Ask some of these men that are sleeping with animals if they would sleep with a guy. Ask them. Have you ever done a study on this? Ask these men that are sleeping with their dogs. Ask these women that are sleeping with their animals if they would, or have they ever been, lesbian. I know that's nasty, but I don't have to cover up for Jesus. I believe Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and you failed it. You just missed it. Okay? You missed the whole point. You're missing the whole point. Okay? Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. For not only gay people, but for people that don't want to be gay, that don't want to end up gay, that don't want to end up in the bed with their daughter. It's okay. You can be honest that you have those feelings, that those things are in your head. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life for those that don't want to be gay. For those that don't want to end up in bed with their daughter or their son or their mama or their grandmother or their cousin or their aunt. Jesus Christ is there for those that don't want to be gay and those that are gay. He's there to save you and bring you to the place to where you need to be so that you can be right with Him. He's there to deliver you and save you and bring you to the place to where you need to be so that you can become right with Him. I'm D. Roy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. More to come. Happy New Year. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.